fairies, Santa Claus, multi-level marketing, trickle-down economics. Caducean! Sorry. Hello and welcome to Words Matter, the show where we talk about words and how we abuse them. Today's word is believe. Oh boy, does that one get a lot of abuse. From campy Christmas specials to Hallmark movies to those stupid scam self-help books that tell you to manifest your paycheck into the universe, whatever. The word believe really gets stretched pretty far these days.
We believe in God the Father.
You believe in fairies?
I do believe in fairies.
I'm a believer.
I
believe I can fly.
It has become a cultural get-out-of-jail-free card and way to avoid accountability, all while pretending to be virtuous. Here's the problem. The word believe used to have a lot more of a practical use for it. As a matter of fact, it's often the way we translate old words into English that actually meant things more like trust. It means having a sense of confidence or trust in a person based on their character or past behavior. For example, if I say, I believe my friend has my best intentions at heart, I'm making a judgment about the character of my friend. This then grew to apply to being basically a choice, a rational choice, to accept something as true based on the character of the person saying it and the plausibility of the claim. For example, if I pass just some random guy on the street and he comes up to me and starts yelling, "I saw an alien!" Well, I'm more likely to assume that there's some kind of mental illness or drugs involved in the claim. However, if my wife comes home and claims that she thinks she saw a UFO while driving back, I am more likely to believe she at least saw something. This is because I trust my wife and generally find her to be of sound mind. Also, if she didn't know what it is, that is technically an unidentified flying object. All these examples of using the word believe are based in reason. All of these are examples of using the word believe in a rational way. I don't have proof or evidence of something directly, but I have good reason to accept something as true for connected or related reasons. This is a far cry from our current use of the word believe in popular culture. Belief has become a shorthand trick, where we bundle unjustified opinions under a veneer of virtue and call them our beliefs. It's an intellectually dishonest tactic. The problem is that we don't want to say something's in my opinion because we all know that an opinion and an empty sack are worth the sack.
Do you know what this is?
A sack.
Well, if it's a sack, then get in it.
If something is your opinion, then it is open for debate and scrutiny. However, if something is your belief, oh, now it is sacred. How dare you disrespect my beliefs? In the absence of proof, reasonable people can still disagree on a conclusion. In a free society, we should absolutely be free to make our own conclusions for things that are not truly knowable. But to deceive yourself that your opinions are a virtue is a mind killer. And declaring them as beliefs others should just accept is destructive to our ability to function as a society. What can be virtuous are the values and choices you make because of your convictions. If you decide to help a family in need, if you forgive someone to heal a relationship, or if you donate your time to a worthy cause, it doesn't really matter what framework of beliefs got you there. Kindness is a universal language, and so is cruelty. Even in many religions, this distinction is clear. For Christianity, we have James 2:19 through 20. You believe that God is one? You do well. Even the demons believe and shudder. Do you want to be shown, you foolish person, that faith apart from works is useless? By the way, I just want to take a minute and appreciate the biting sarcasm in that verse. Do you believe in God? Good for you. Even demons do.
It's a sack, just a sack.
The level of anger he portrays in this verse is certainly paralleling my own. And by the way, if you never knew that there was sarcasm in the Bible, oh, there definitely is. Those apostles can get quite salty. In Judaism, we have the following passage, which I'm not going to insult anyone by trying to pronounce. By three things the world is sustained, by Torah, by the temple service, and by acts of loving kindness. In Buddhism, you have the Eightfold Path, three of which are right action, right livelihood, and right effort. And by the way, I have never had anyone who practices Buddhism come to me and say, I'm a Buddhist because I believe Buddha existed. They consider themselves a Buddhist because of the teachings they try to practice and what they do. People who abuse the word believe often get offended when atheists put God in the same bucket as Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and the Flying Spaghetti Monster. But if you are going to put the same qualification, in other words, saying there is virtue that I believe in God, and then have the same kind of structure of there is virtue that I believe in Santa Claus, and there is virtue that I believe in the Tooth Fairy, then you're the one degrading the value of the idea or the conclusion of God. It is not them, because you're the one who said the standard here is just my own desire to believe. And if that's the standard you've declared, you can't get mad at them using that standard. Okay, so before you think this is just a big rant on religion, I know, too late, you've already dropped your rage in the comment section and left. But for the rest of you who are having a little too much fun, let me move on to talk about what actually inspired me to do this video in the first place. I believe in science. This little phrase has probably done more to dance on the grave of rational thinking than anything else I've talked about so far. You don't believe in science. That's what makes science so great. It's a discipline, not a belief. This isn't just about semantics either. This is about propaganda. When you say believe in the science or trust in the science, what you're really saying is believe in my science. And you know what is actually even worse than that? What you're really saying is believe in my scientists. The reality war of the last couple decades has been rife with tribalism masked as virtue. Science journalists and news media have done little to nothing to educate the public on science and instead have focused on propaganda pieces headlined with things like a majority of scientists agree, 99% of experts in the field say that, blah, blah, blah. You know, just like those old ads that said that a majority of doctors suggest Lucky Strike cigarettes. Experts have become the priests of the modern secular age. Much like the Catholic Church originally didn't want laymen reading the Bible in case they got crazy new ideas, so now do experts spend time asking us to trust them instead of spending time educating the public and making the evidence accessible to everyone. Basically, we found that educating and equipping the public just wasn't profitable enough, and now we're mostly just peddling in science vibes. And I know that some of you are probably writing this off as, oh, this is one of those conspiracy guys who doesn't believe in things like climate change, and none of that is true. I am personally very convinced in human-caused climate change. A little fuzzy around the edges on what that exactly is going to mean. Frankly, it's a little terrifying, but that's not the point right now. The point is that even if something is right, or even if it's a noble cause, propaganda is always harmful to society. Science only works for social good when it is democratized and accessible for everyone to be able to learn and understand it. We've trusted the ivory tower far too long on lots of bullshit. We've had the food pyramid, salt intake, pain medications, and opioids. We've had the cosmological principle of a homogenous universe, and fucking NyQuil, which doesn't even work and we're still selling it. I feel a little vomit come up a bit in my throat every time I hear someone say, I believe in science, with the little Peter Pan pose and everything. No, believing in something, whether it's religious or scientific, does not make you smarter or better. Learning science makes you smarter, sure. But taking some dude's word as science does not make you smarter or better just because you're on their side. Now, to wrap up, if you're having a hard time trying to understand where I'm going with this, just before shooting this video, I saw an absolutely amazing pinnacle piece of science/medical journalism by Andrew Chang in the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. It covers the recent announcement of Tylenol as a potential cause for autism. And it is a non-reactional, sober, completely educational, and thorough coverage of the subject. And I'm going to link to it in the description, because if our journalism here in America was like this, we would all be a lot smarter and a lot less polarized. This series is called Words Matter because words matter, and I am mad at the way people carelessly use them. Examine your thoughts and learn to distinguish between something that you are convinced is true and something that is objectively true. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy explaining your opinions or why you come to this or that conclusion and having lively discourse. It just means that you know the difference between thoughts and virtues. Even deeper, look at your own thought life. If you find yourself thinking you strongly believe something, it's likely it just means you want it to be true. But if you are saying to yourself, I'm strongly convinced, then that means it's more likely you've collected a lot of evidence that is persuading you. Doesn't mean you're right, just a bit of a healthier approach. This world leaves a lot of questions unanswered, and even I have extremely strong convictions on things related to spirituality, or what we would call metaphysics, or the nature of God, and things like that. And some of them, I am deeply convinced to myself they are true, and they are very important to me. But I still separate in everything I do what I am convinced is true and what is fair to consider objectively true to others. Everyone should be free to examine this world of their own volition. And I also hope to encourage all of you to stop letting people get away with this sanctimonious behavior. If someone starts declaring their beliefs in a socially aggressive context, please firmly but politely remind them, opinions are not virtues. We get no credit for just believing something. It is our values and our actions that define our virtues. So, to all of you, I say thanks for watching, and as always, try to use words good. But taking some words dude,